Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's William here at Allegory Gallery. Thank you for joining me today. Let's see who's here. Susie's here. Hello, Susie. Thank you for joining us. Marianne is here. Hello, Marianne. Susie, other Susie is here. Thank you for being here with us today. Norma is here. Jennifer is here. Thank you both for being here. Anna is here. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. Um, whew, Leslie's here. Hello, Leslie. Um, wow, lots of people. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it so much. Happy Monday. It is Monday. Yes, happy Monday. I wasn't at the store yesterday um, because the snow was predicted to fully envelop our life, and then it didn't do that. So I took the day off yesterday thinking if I got to the store, I might have a really hard time coming back. Um, and then we hardly got anything. But I did hear yesterday, last night, the roads got really icy. So it's probably best I was not there. Um, Jennifer says your hair looks lively today. My hair is very lively. I had an appointment at one point and then I had to cancel it because I was helping my mom with things and that happened the same day. So I canceled the appointment and I've never gotten back down to make another appointment. Andrew's like, maybe you can do that for your birthday and actually, actually get your hair cut. And that would be a nice birthday gift to myself. So I'll see. I didn't get an appointment made today, but I'll see if my stylist is there tomorrow and can maybe sneak me in for my birthday. We'll see. Um, but hey, it's wild and crazy. Andrew says pre-birthday. Yes, pre-birthday today. It's the day before. Hello, Kimberly. Thank you for joining us. Says it has grown fast. Yeah, at one point it feels manageable, and then the next day it's totally different. So I just kind of go like this before I go anywhere. And it does its own thing. It's a little wild. I don't use anything in it, and probably I should at this point, but hey Len, thanks for joining us here. Um, Hope you're all doing great. It was a busy day for me. I woke up with an upset stomach today. So I kind of slept in and then I got up and Andrew got up and I fed the cats and I started getting myself ready. And then I had to take some Tums and really wasn't feeling great. So I laid back down for a few hours and that set me kind of back, but also there was no way I think I was going to get anything done um, if if I wouldn't have laid back down. It kind of let it settle a little bit. Anna says, I like your wild hair, LOL. Thank you. Andrew says, your hair looks good, but I know you wanted to get it cut. Yeah, it's getting wild for me. Like I feel like I feel like I'm like out there in the wild, like you know. I've always liked my hair a little bit on the wild side. I do not, I guess when I was young, um, I used to really take a lot of time to do my hair. And like I had the blow dryer and, brushes and combs and do it just the right way. And then as I got older, I was just like, you know what? I like wild hair and people say it's good for me. So I usually go with wild hair, but I need to get it trimmed up. It's getting too much for me. Um, and you always feel like a different person after a haircut, I feel like. Um, and I'm ready for that, especially for my birthday. Um, let's see here. Ba, ba, ba. Everybody's saying hi. Leslie said, I went for my haircut last Friday. I've been going to my barber longer than I've been in business. Yeah. I'm lucky to have found someone in town that I like, that we get along as far as hair goes, and she kind of knows what I like. Not afraid to try some newish things sometimes. Sometimes, I'm kind of like I know my hair is going to grow back. Hopefully, I mean, knock on wood, you know, and I'm generally not afraid to try things, but I also once I get there, I'm like I don't go in with ideas, I guess. Sometimes I do, but it's rare. Most of the time I'm just like, just do the same thing. Like I just default to doing the same thing. And sometimes she tries to get me to do different things and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't quite work for me, but I know it grows out no matter what. And I like somebody who is willing to push me a little bit. Not too hard, because sometimes I'm just like, no, I want the same thing, just do the same thing, right? Um, but yeah, so um, I've had many different hairstylists over the years, and I've gone sometimes, like, I'm very dedicated to a stylist. If I find somebody that I get along with and like what they do with my hair, um, then like I used to drive from my home, like close to here, all the way to State College, which is about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes away, in the summers to get my hair cut because my hairstylist was in State College, and I would drive all that way, um, just to get my hair cut. But yeah, I'm lucky mine is just down the block now, a few blocks away. Anna says, I feel that upset tummy too. Yeah, it's just today I woke up with a lot of anxiety this morning. You're just kind of like a wave of it, and I don't think that helped. And, I think things are related. Sometimes the anxiety causes the upset stomach. I think the upset stomach more caused the anxiety today. Um, or maybe, a little bit of both. But kind of got over that, and my stomach was still upset. So I slept in a little bit, took a nap. Um, Jennifer says, glad you rested. Yeah. Andrew says, I can cut it for you with a devil face. um, I don't know. I trust Andrew's artistry. But cutting hair, it's not something, I maybe practice on some dolls and let me see how that comes out, and then we'll see. I don't know. I am pretty okay though with some kind of wild hair. I once went to cut my hair. One of my friends were getting our hair cut, and they wanted to cut my hair, and I was like, and they're like, no, I've been studying a little bit. I know. I'm like, okay, and they wanted to cut it shorter, but I didn't want it short, short. Um, and I don't know if it ended up being a gag. It was not a fun one. They tricked me. They're like, "Oh no, this isn't that short." They had the clippers and they had the what do you call them? Whatever goes on top of the clippers, and they're like, "This is a long one. We're just gonna cut a little bit shorter." And they cut it to like buzz cut. So there are pictures of me somewhere around where I have very short hair. It was when I was in college. Um, and you know what? It wasn't so bad in the end. At first, I was like traumatized, but by the end of it, it was summer. I was like, whatever. And then I dyed it blonde, I think, because that's what you did back then, in the 90s and early 2000s. And that was my hair. And then it grew back out. But I've never gone that short ever since. Um, but so I have had that. If it got totally messed up, I guess I could always do that. Um, yeah. Susan's here. Hello, Susan. Thank you for joining us. Um, Andrew says it would have been dangerous to go to the cottage with tummy turbulence. Yes, very dangerous. So that's why I kind of didn't want to go and start working there until I knew I would be safe. And once I took the Tums and I laid down, I actually slept for like another hour and a half or so, I think, maybe 2 hours on the couch. I just slept with the cats, and that really helped. Started my day off a lot later than I had expected, but really helped. Cats healed me. They healed me, those cats. Um, let's see here. Ba, ba, ba. Soldier's Mama 160 is here. Hello. Do we know you? Is this just a name we don't? Do I know you? Have you been here before? Um, hello, by the way. If you're new, thank you for joining us. I feel like that's an email I know, but maybe not. I don't want to say anything in case I'm wrong. Susan says, William, you needed the rest. I think so. I think I did. Even though I got some rest yesterday. I got some rest yesterday, but um, it was because we took the day off from the store. I still did some things, but we did kind of relax a little bit, which was nice, which is why today feels a little bit so odd. And I didn't expect to wake up with an upset stomach, but I did. Um, let's see. Andrew says, I practice on Tallulah. Yeah. Susan says, I've been going to the same stylist for 30 years. She was my mother's stylist, and Marty is well known for her skill with color. That's awesome. That's awesome. Andrew says, we don't need to match. No, we do not need to match. Monica's here. Hello, Monica. Thank you for joining us over on Facebook over there. Jennifer says, I've been cutting my own hair for a long time, and some results have been too short. Like, what happened to her? Sometimes that happens. I've never cut my own hair. I do not trust myself to do that. Even though I don't mind my hair wild, I think it could get a little too wild. Like I don't have that, like that, you know, like you're looking in a mirror and you're trying to cut, like my hands don't go the right way. I don't have that. So I mean I really admire people who can do that because it's not me. It's certainly not me. Andrew says, Gertie told you to get up. Yeah, I was sleeping and Gertie let me sleep in this morning. So she must have known I was feeling bad. But by the time I was ready to get up from my couch nap, she was jumping on me and telling me to get up. It's like she knows when it's time for me to get up. She was not going to let me sleep any longer. She jumps on me. She sometimes talks to me and then just stares deeply at me. And that's usually when it's time for me to get up. Even though I got up and fed them earlier because I knew I wasn't feeling good. So I fed them before I laid back down because I didn't know how long I'd be out. Oh, Monica says, this is Monica. I thought so because I think, isn't that part of your, I think. Because sometimes I, um, I remember things from parts of emails and things. Um, let's see here. Marianne says, I had an early afternoon nap. Nice. It's good to nap sometimes. It did feel good. Monica's Soldier's Mom. Yeah, I thought so. I thought I recognized it. Monica says, I tried YouTube, but I have a terrible time with it. It's okay. You can hang out on Facebook. YouTube is different, sometimes. And I set up my YouTube channel a long time ago. I don't actually know how I switched my username. But there's a way you can do that if you want to put your name there instead. But some people like to go more anonymous and do that. So whichever. But some people have a harder time commenting on YouTube and some people have a harder time commenting on Facebook. I think it's just what works for you and what apps you're working on and what even phones or tablets or computers, whatever you're on. Some people prefer one over the other. It's no problem. I appreciate you watching on both because it gives us um, viewership and lets the platforms know, hey, people are watching. So we appreciate that. Andrew said that's like when Sheila's boyfriend shaved his head to match us. We look like a cult. Yeah, we don't need to start looking like a cult around here. The cult of the bead or something, right? Although if you're gonna be in a cult, right? I don't know. There are some worse ones. Sue says, I don't know what I will do when she retires. Cutting your own hair is ill advised. You aren't working from the same angles. There would have to be two of you to do a halfway decent job. I know people who cut their own hair and they do a fantastic job. Um, I watch people on YouTube. There are people on YouTube doing it and they're like, yeah, I cut my own hair and their hair always looks good and they style it really well. For me, that is not the case. I would have to need like three of me to do a halfway decent job. Um, but yeah, yeah. Um, Susan says, I tried to nap, but Hubs kept talking to me. That's not good, right? So you got to simmer down. I'm trying to nap here. It's usually my cats that talk to me and keep me from napping. But they let me nap today. Must have known I needed it. Leslie says, I gave up on Facebook, always gives me issues. Yeah, some platforms are better for people, some work better. Most of our people are on Facebook, except that's funny because most of our viewership here is YouTube. They're usually Facebook followers, but they find us, they prefer watching on YouTube. I don't know, what makes you all prefer watching on YouTube? Um, I've been meaning to ask that because I know that a lot of people, um, a lot of you all follow us mostly on Facebook, but then when we go on YouTube, you're watching there. So I just wonder what makes that happen. Why? Um, Anna says, I'd consider a bead cult. I know, right? Maybe they're really creative and who knows? Marianne says, not shaving my head to join a bead cult. I know. If it came down to having to shave your head to join, I don't know. But I guess it depended on the cult. Depends how good it is, what you get out of that. Jennifer says, I'm in that bead cult, right? I know. I think we all are, whether we know it or not. Shaven heads or not. Leslie says, oh, that would be a great cult name, Cult of the Bead, right? I think so. Um, I don't know. Maybe we need to start that. I don't know. I don't know about calling yourselves outright a cult. What people would think of that, but I think Cult of the Beat is kind of a cool name. Sue says, I usually go with YouTube because of the monetized issue. Yeah, we are monetized on YouTube and Facebook. But I don't think the monetization on Facebook follows through to lives as much. I don't think so. Anyway, I don't even know if Facebook lives count as much. It's pretty much the videos and the ads, and we don't put ads in our live stream. I have the option to turn ads on so that while we're talking, every once in a while, you might get an ad, which would make us more money in the ad stream, but would be highly annoying to most people otherwise. If we were really setting this up, um, instead of kind of flying free a little bit like we do, we can go into the YouTube producer app and we could insert times where we want an ad. So we could be like, and now for a commercial break. And then we could go to break and then we could play the ad. And that would give us AdSense money. Um, but, you know, our lives are meant mostly to make money on selling the stuff that we have for you. And so hopefully you continue buying stuff and then we don't have to worry about putting ads in the middle of our live stream or our talk. Like right now, I just be like, and now for a commercial break. And then it would be so weird, but it is something we could do. Uh, but because we don't advertise, I put ads in after sometimes. So if somebody watches a replay, you might see ads, and that's why. Because that's our one chance to make a little bit of extra AdSense money on top of if you decide to buy anything. And if you watch those ads, we make some money off of it. So that's why I do that, but not during the live, not during the physical live part. Um, let's see here. Ba-ba-ba. Monica says, yeah, I don't have much patience with tech stuff. I love tech stuff. That's a good thing for us because Andrew doesn't have a lot of patience with it. He doesn't, as long as it works for him, that's good enough. I love tech stuff. I love learning about it. I love playing with it. I'm a little out of practice with some things because, um, you know, we're busy and we don't have a lot of money to spend on extra stuff. Like I would love to have virtual reality system and all that, especially the Apple one, but I ain't got the extra income for that. So we're a little bit behind on that kind of VR AR stuff as far as knowledgeable on it, but Andrew's one friend did allow us to play with one time and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, I have to say. It made me want one, but I don't know that I would use it for much. Um, Although a virtual desktop is kind of really cool, where you could put the goggles on and have your computer up in the air and have it on widescreen, or you could watch movies widescreen and it really looks widescreen. It's kind of a cool idea, but not in the budget and not really in the time slots that we've got. Marion says, I do watch a lot of things on YouTube. I do too. I like YouTube. Anna says, I think its notifications on Facebook are distracting, and I like how comments are on YouTube. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I also think that sometimes it hides the notifications. Like people just do not see that we've gone live in on Facebook. I think YouTube is better about that. But I also have some notifications turned off on Facebook on my phone. Like the YouTube notification comes right up on my home screen when we go live. But I think I turned some things off on Facebook because it can get a little bit too much because we use it so much. I literally we have, sorry, as soon as I start talking to you all, I get my throat ridiculous. So we have Star Cottage Studio Facebook page. We have the Allegory Gallery Facebook page. I have my William Tries Things Facebook page. Um, we also have our groups. We have Inspired by Reading. We have Allegory Gallery Design Challenges. We have a few other groups and pages that some people know about and some don't yet. Um, and so there are a lot of, plus my own personal page, just William Jones on Facebook. If I turned on all the notifications, that's all my phone would be. So we are trying to, I try to cut down on that a little bit. Andrew says tax free. What's tax free? Trying to think back what I talked about. I'm always so behind on the comments. I'm like 8-9 minutes behind already. Susan says, I like the Facebook feature with the closed captioning. That way I don't have to wear earbuds. I thought I had turned on closed captioning on our YouTube lives too. You don't see it on YouTube? Because when I'm looking at it, I don't see it actually on Facebook or YouTube. But I just assumed that I turned those off for myself. Um, huh. But I thought that YouTube had it too. Ba, ba, ba. Leslie says, yes, it is. I have somebody that I stopped because they run ads in their lives. Oh yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's weird. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if we did it to the point where we said, okay, and now a break. I think that would be okay if people understood that. But also, um, if we didn't do it that way and we just turned them on, it would be wherever it decided to put an ad while I'm talking here, you would miss the conversation and it would put an ad in. So it is annoying. Um, I pay for the higher end YouTube for my personal YouTube account so that I don't have ads. But we appreciate all those that do out there and that you watch them. It helps us a lot. Marion says you can close caption on YouTube. Norma says YouTube closed captions only show on replay. Huh. I thought they instituted a new thing that I had turned on. Maybe it was just a trial thing. They do beta things, and usually I jump into some of them, and maybe that was one of them where it was a beta where you would do it, but maybe they decided not to run with that. I don't know. It's always strange. Andrew says it was neat, but I have no interest in it for the virtual reality, AR, augmented and virtual reality. Yeah, it was really cool. And I can see it being useful once they're a little bit smaller. Um, like I would love the one from Apple. For one, it's $5,000. I can't afford that. That's too much. That is, even for me, that is too much. If somebody wants to gift it to me for my birthday, I'm all open. But I am that is way too much. But it can pretty much be your computer. It can run your desktop and all that. And I think that would be pretty cool, except that it's apparently pretty heavy. I've never tried one from Apple on, but it's pretty heavy. Um, they say it's comfortable for quite some time, but um, yeah, I think that would be cool. But if it were smaller, right? Once it gets smaller in size, uh, which they will inevitably over time, we're all just gonna be wearing glasses that our computers in or attached to our computer somehow. And there is a company that makes some pretty good, like almost normal looking glasses that attach to your computer through a just a cable. And so it's not the actual computer itself, it's just glasses that project it onto your eyes actually. And apparently they're really good. So that's an idea. And they're a lot less, they're like a few $100s instead of $5,000. Um, Andrew says, we were going to start a new bead selling page, but haven't had time. Yeah. We have a few pages and groups out there. Oh, tax-free cult was about the cult. Yeah. Right. Um, Marianne says it can be shown on lives, but it requires setup. Yeah, I thought I had it set up, but I guess not. I guess not. Andrew says, just give us the money if they're planning to buy you a $5,000 toy. Yeah, right. We could use that $5,000 in a lot better ways than me to have a computer strapped to my face, for sure. Which is why I don't have one. Now, if I win the lottery tonight, if we win for my birthday, I played the Powerball tonight for my birthday. I'm like, let's do this. Let's be rich when I wake up in the morning tomorrow. Then I'll think about it, right? But other than that, there's a lot better ways we can spend our money. Andrew says apparently a judge fined Facebook for them wearing AR glasses during a trial. Oh, I didn't see that. That's interesting. So they have access to some information or answers or whatever. I don't know. That's wild. That is wild. Um, yeah, but so my day has just kind of been, um, kind of resting at the beginning to try to recover a little bit, and then packing and shipping. As I've been at the cottage all afternoon. I was a little bit late here starting the live because um, I was gathering stuff up for the live, and then I gathered everything, shut down everything, and I was on my way. And then I didn't realize that it had frozen outside. Like there was freezing rain and like freezing snow, and the windshield was frozen. So I had to wait in the car until it warmed up to get the windshield clear enough to drive. So that's why I was a little bit late. Marion says, good luck on the lottery. That would be an awesome birthday present. Thank you. I definitely, I definitely, if we hit that kind of a lottery, and um, it's $203 million, and I'm like, I've always had this thing with numbers, like 203. I'm going to be 46. So you double both of those, it makes it 46. I'm like, that means I'm going to win. I have to win. But yeah, it's an insane amount of money. It's like winning over $1 million every single year on just the interest payments. If you get a basic interest rate, which is kind of wild. After, that's the cash take. Um, so we could be very generous in the things that we do in the world with that kind of money. Andrew says, still, if we're rich, I could think of better ways of spending the money. Yeah, of course. But if you've got that, I'm probably gonna buy a headset. I'm probably gonna give it a try. Since tech is one of my passions, I would probably still give it a try at that point. Um, Andrew said there's a Keith Lewis brooch for 4,000 LOL. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Andrew says, with our powers combined, let's manifest it. I know, right? It's kind of wild. I don't know what the cash take is immediately. $94.6 million. 94. So let's break this down. 94.6. I do this all the time, every time it changes. $1 million minus 40.07%. That's the amount you get taken off for taxes right away. That's 56.7 million dollars cash you would be getting. Now just take that times 3% a year. Just say 3%. That's an average savings account, right? Not that you can put that much into savings probably, but just that. That's $1.7 million a year. Divide that by 12. This is the thing I do all the time. It's $141,734 a month. So every month, now that's not with taxes taken off for taking that money, but every month before taxes, you could make $141,000 just living off the interest. Almost $142,000. There's a lot of good we could do with that money. So I'm going to say we're just going to win it. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna wake up. Now, even if we won like $1 million, that would be really helpful. That could help pay off everything, and we could have a wonderful reset and really do all the things we want to do. But $142 million or $142,000 a month for the rest of your life, just on interest, at least. That's pretty nice. Susan says, my sister-in-law lives in Northeast Connecticut. She posted a video of her husband trying to use a snowblower on their long driveway. I don't envy him. Yeah, some people got nailed with the snow. They were calling for a lot of snow here. Not as much as some people got, but we were watching the radar and they were like showing like the most extreme parts of the blizzard passing right over us. And so we closed the store thinking that if I got there, I might not get home. And then we got a dusting, and then it turned to rain and it melted it all. And then we were supposed to get another few inches overnight, and we got a dusting before I woke up. We don't even have, like, I don't think we got an inch of snow at any one point. So we were very lucky that way. We did get rain that did turn to ice. Apparently, a lot of the roads around here toward evening got very, very icy. So I saw some of my friends posting about not going out if you don't have to because they were very icy. And Jennifer says, lottery winning bead called. I know, right? I know. Leslie says, Philly got 13 inches. Yeah. One of our friends said they got 21 inches of snow. And I forget where they live. They got 21 inches of snow over the course of the day and a half overnight. Some people got hammered. We were talking in the D Stash last night. I had a D Stash event, an Andrew Thornton Project D Stash on Facebook last night. So if you missed that, check it out. But some of the people were talking about how bad New York was getting blizzard out, whiteout conditions, winds. Was that you, Susan? I forget. So it's been wild. Andrew says, if we can manifest a lottery win, it'd be a good endorsement for the cult, right? Yeah, you definitely want to join our cult because our cult just won millions and millions of dollars by manifesting it. If we can manifest that, imagine what we could manifest otherwise. We could do some good in this world. We try to do good anyway, but yeah, that would definitely be a good endorsement. Sue says, yes, I think it was. I thought you were mentioning it. You were watching the weather channels. So yeah, it's been, some people got hammered. So we hope that you are all safe out there and have been good. Andrew says, world peace next up. I know, right? If we can manage to win 203 million dollars, world peace, it's just around the corner. Just amp up, build the cult and amp up that, build the cult with that cash and amp up the manifestations, the things we could bring, right? What a life that would be. Everybody at peace and just making stuff, doing what you like to do. That'd be nice. Yeah, so that was that. The weekend, I had planned on going back up to the store on Sunday, so I took some things up there to pack and stuff, and I still have them up there. So I'm missing those. I will probably wait until this weekend to go up, except there are a few things that I wish I would have brought home. I thought about it, and I'm like, no, I'm going to be back here tomorrow, and then I wasn't. Marion says, gives new meaning to Powerball, right? Exactly. Andrew says, just a few more members. I know, we just need a few more. Add up our manifestation power. It'd be pretty nice. It'd be pretty nice. We'll build the cult of the bead and turn our sights to creativity and world peace, right? Yeah. Why not? Right? Andrew says, maybe we can do lunch in Johnstown for your birthday. That might be nice. There's a few places that we've been talking about going to, and we've never been able to. So that could be a nice thing. That's a good idea. And then we could pick up some stuff. Um, Boston got around 2 feet, says Susan. Yeah, it's wild. As I said, some of our friends got like they're talking about 21 inches they have to dig out from, and I'm like, that is insane. That is insane. Andrew says all things are possible. Yeah, anything's possible. I believe that. I have to believe that. The life we've built, a lot of people would not think was possible from where Andrew and I came from. Um, the things that we've done, like getting married, neither of us believed would ever be possible in our lifetime. So, we've done a lot of quote unquote impossible things. And why not? You know, why not? Andrew says, you can get me a sedative to go beyond the yard. Oh boy. All things are possible, right? Um, I have to do something to get Andrew out of the house. Be doing my birthday lunch by myself. Go and get it and bring it home. Um, which if we have to, we will. That's okay. Um, there's no there's no expectation for my birthday this year. I do like to do things for my birthday sometimes, but my birthday always falls on terrible weather or during the hardest times financially of the year for us. And so I have always kind of lowered my birthday expectations as far as what we'll be able to do. And that's not necessary. I don't mean to say that as a bad thing. Um, I just don't expect us to be, going hog wild and, taking trips and stuff like that on my birthday. And that's okay. But I like to do some things. Um, Andrew says 1 year we took a class together. Yeah, that was a year we were able to spend a little bit more, and we took a class on casting. That was like what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, which was nice. We went to the Baltimore Jewelry Center and were able to take a class for a weekend. That was nice. Jennifer says, here in Lancaster, we only got a few inches, yet then our trash didn't get picked up in the morning. Really? Maybe it got icy. I don't know. It did get icy here at night, even though we got like less than an inch, but there was a lot of ice and rain. So maybe that's why. I don't ever like sometimes we usually leave our back driveway light on when we put our garbage out, because if we don't, it's down a back alley that isn't really lit by our house that well. They will generally miss our garbage can if I don't leave that light on. And so there are many times that it's not been picked up until the next week, and it doesn't bother me. Um, and especially in the winter months, if they can't do it, I don't want anyone out. That's what we say with the store too. We don't want anyone out there endangering themselves for beads, right? It's not that big of a deal. We need to stay in business. Yes, our business is a big deal, but a particular day or something, and it's the same with stuff like that. I would rather people stay in and stay safe, because I haven't been out. I wasn't out. I don't know what the conditions are. Um, and I don't want anyone, especially driving the big trucks. They often drive those big trucks. Um, yeah, I'm always let people have grace on that, because you never know what it's like. Marion says, but Andrew, there's food involved, right? Is Andrew says, I got us the April Wood class. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that. And I like April a lot. So it was a good class. We learned a lot. Um, and that was exciting. That was exciting. So sometimes we do things, um, but it is, ever since we based our life on the store and I don't have my other job, it's been harder. But it's okay. I don't need a big thing. I just like to celebrate and have my day. I'm not one of those people that shy away from the day. Like, I like to announce it's my birthday. I like to um I like the idea of my birthday. I don't know why. I know some people hate their birthday. They never want to talk about it. They don't want to celebrate it. They would rather stay in. Um I like my birthday. Um so it's a fun thing for me. Um yeah. Anyway, so That's tomorrow, by the way, my birthday. And what comes with my birthday? Kitapalooza. So we're gonna have kits released for the live tomorrow night. We're gonna do things throughout the day. We might do giveaways. We'll see if we do lunch and stuff. I don't know how much we'll do, but I had planned to maybe do some things throughout the day. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. If we decide to do lunch and do some things like that, it's going to cut into that, and that's fine too. We'll have the thing mostly in the evening. But Andrew says we didn't do anything for my birthday this year. No, and I felt bad about that. But sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, um, and uh, it all it works out in the end. Works out in the end, I think. Anyway. Anne's here. Hello, Anne. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Um, so yeah, we are what are we doing? Kittapalooza tomorrow. So hopefully you'll join us. And the idea with that is all day long. We hope you will drop um we hope you will drop in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group, things that you've made using our kits. So if you have any of our kits, hopefully you've made things with them, and you can throw projects in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group with things that you've made with those um, from any point in time. So if you've gotten our kits, even if you got Andrew's kits before we started Allegory Gallery, because Andrew was making kits even before we had a store. Did you know that, y'all? Um, we've been making kits for probably over 20 years. Um, or at least close to 20 years, probably. Um, well, yeah, probably. I don't know. Andrew's been making kits a long time. And so um, we've been doing them a long time. And some of you have some of those kits from way back. If you do, we'd love to see some projects you've made with them. And we hope people will make projects and take time to celebrate with me. And kind of, just kind of show off what you've done and maybe make a new one as part of the day. That'd be nice if you get a chance to do that. Andrew says one of my best was when we visited Matt and Sonia and went to the Corning Museum and then went to Watkins Glen. Yeah, that was a nice day. That was a little bit hard because you had gout. We took the long way around, but it was a very nice trip. That was good. That was just what, 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. And then I think the other years we went up to, um, was it Lake Erie? No, was it Lake Erie with Sheila? I think we did that for your birthday one year, and met with them. I think that was for your birthday. That was nice too. Andrew says we got to go to Italy, so that was like Christmas, birthday, Easter, and all the other holidays rolled in together. Yeah, yes, yeah. Last year we were busy trying to get ready for that, and so we didn't get to do as much for his actual birthday, but we got to go to Italy. So that was pretty amazing. Jennifer asks, when do you do the make-alongs? We do our make-alongs usually, and let me see, it would have been, we didn't do one this month because we were getting ready to do the my birthday celebration. But usually it's the next to last Friday of the month. So on this month, it would have been last Friday is when we would have done it. We're probably going to have one in March. March follows exactly the same days um, as February. February and March are always exactly the same days on the exact same dates. So we will probably do it on the 20th of March and have our actual Zoom make along. I haven't scheduled that yet, but that's usually when we do them. I've been trying to think if we should change the date because people get confused. They think it's always on like the third Friday, but sometimes it's not. Some months have 5 weeks, 5 Fridays. It's always on the next to last. So we will probably get together on March 20th for that creative make along, and then we'll probably start doing them. I have to look at the calendar and see um, if we have anything scheduled for any of those. I'm peeping now as we go through, um, but I think most of them. Um, there's one possibly in July that may not fit the schedule, but I think all the other dates would be pretty good. So that's usually when we do them, and they're really fun. I enjoy them. I missed having it this month, but like I said, because we're doing my birthday thing on Tuesday, we just decided it's probably a lot to do a make along, and then we might do a make along on sometime tomorrow. So stay tuned. I might just do a whoops. I don't know what that was. What did I just drop? It sounded really loud. Anyway, um, we might do a make along at some point tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. Who knows? Depends what we're doing. Like I said, we might go somewhere to eat. So we'll see. But stay tuned to the notifications if we do. I'll probably also send out a text notification. So if you're not on our text message list, you can go to our website and join our text message, our SMS list. And that way you'll know, you'll get a message right to your phone from us if we're going to do a creative make along. Of course, I'll do an email too if we're going to do it. But a text message is always nice because I can send those out with without having to worry about that. I can send them out like quick and people will get them right away. March 20th is also the spring equinox, says Mary. And yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realize it. I don't know why that wasn't on my calendar. Wonder why. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. It's not on there. Usually I get the kind of holidays and things. Um, Andrew said, let's not plan on it. Tomorrow we'll be busy. Okay. Andrew's saying no. Um, Andrew says, maybe on Friday we can have a make along virtual birthday gathering. Maybe. Maybe we'll do that. How about that, y'all? What do you think? Um, we'll do it on Friday instead. That might be nice. Also, don't forget, April 10th, we are going to also have a Zoom meeting, and that is going to be for the Inspired by Reading Book Club. So if you have not gotten the book and you've not started reading the book, you've still got time, but you should probably start. I'm telling myself this. It is the Glassmaker, right? The Glassmaker by Tracy Chevalier, and you can grab that. We had some links that we posted, some affiliate links that we get a little kickback if you grab it on Amazon, but you can get it anywhere. And that's the book. So, Inspired by Reading Book Club, we read one book. Used to be a book a month, but we're doing it a book a quarter is pretty much how we're doing it this year. And you make something inspired by the book. So that could be anything. It does not have to be jewelry. Please note that. You can, if you are a crafter that makes other things, you can make a scrapbook. You could make a shadow box. You could make, we've had people who brew beers. We always talk about that one because that was a wild one and it was so nice. We've had people who make clothing. You can do whatever you want. Of course, you can make jewelry. So we read the book, we make something inspired by the book, and then we discuss the book. And some people work on their projects during the Zoom meeting. Some people show off their projects. Like I said, we discuss the book, our favorite parts of the book. It is not a super highly organized, like, line by line, what we're going to talk about kind of thing. It's kind of as most of our things are, it's kind of a little bit loose, and we get into conversations, and it allows for it allows for spontaneity. I know some book clubs are very regimented. They have certain things they want to discuss in the book, and we are not like that. So come as you are. Don't feel intimidated. Read the book. Read as much of the book as you can. Some people don't finish the books. It's okay. But you will get spoilers probably. We're not going to worry about people who haven't read the book. So there could be spoilers if you haven't finished it. But come as you are, make something or get ready to make something. You don't even have to have it made. You can just talk about what you're going to make, and we can start making it during the meeting. It's very easygoing, and we just want people to have fun with it. And it's just another way that we have found to help spark inspiration in people. Andrew designed this book club way back when we first started the store in 2011. So the book club I think is run since 2011. There's a few years that we missed out on things just because of moves or there was too much going on, but it is something we've done throughout the years, and I love the idea of it. Kimberly says, "Ooh, that would be awesome. What the make along on Friday? Yeah, let's maybe work on that. It's a good idea." May is here. Hello, May. Thanks for joining us. Diane says, "When is the book club?" It is April 10th. The meeting is April 10th. And it'll be 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. So it will be in place of the live on Friday, April 10th. There is a blog post on our website that gives you all that information, including the Facebook link or the Zoom link, including the Zoom link. So if you go to allegorygallery.com and you go to the blog, you can search for Inspired by Reading. You can take a look at that blog post. I've been trying to keep things like this, our big events, as kind of blog posts. So kind of get used to looking on our blog. We don't do as much of it. Like I said, it's not like it's not as like tutorial based or anything on the blog, but it is definitely event based. Like when we're doing some big events or when Andrew is teaching somewhere or we're hosting an event, you will see that information on the blog. So it is a good place to always check first if you're looking for information about us. Let's see here. May is cooking. Nice. Susan asks, "What's cooking?" Says fried chicken fillet with arugula salad. That sounds delicious. Kimberly says, "All of it is awesome." We try and do fun things. Diane says, "Thank you. Trying to get the large print from the library." Yes, that's helpful, right? Um, uh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess Kindle you could, and Libby the app, but maybe that's what you're trying to do is through the Libby app, not the actual physical large print book. Although they probably might have that too. I don't know. I always think immediately like the actual large print physical book, but maybe it's just you're trying to borrow from Libby. Um, but I guess on Libby, you could make it whatever size. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Um, Susan says the food sounds good. I would have to do the vegetarian version though. Us too. We had some. We've had some interesting meals. Andrew made, and I mean interesting by good, but just new kind of things. Andrew made something yesterday that had tofu and spinach, and he made a sauce that was coconut milk based, and we did it over rice, and it was so good. And then he mixed it with eggs and rice this morning, and we had this afternoon, and we had lunch. So that was really good. I have no idea what we're gonna have for dinner because I didn't get to stop at the supermarket on the way home. So I might be running out to Walmart after the live to get stuff, unless there's something Andrew can make. But I think we're pretty much down to not a lot. So I might have to do some running to Walmart tonight. Um, Andrew says, in the bead world, there was a lot of controversy about people copying people. So I wanted to inspire people to look for inspiration besides other makers. Yeah, and he came up with the book club, which I think was an amazing idea. I haven't been able to take part in it a lot because I'm a slow reader, and one book a month, I generally can't get through one book a month. Um, Between time and getting myself calm enough to read, my anxiety does affect what I can do. Andrew can listen to book and work at the same time. I can't do that. I have things on in the background as I work, but I can't focus on them. I don't have that. Um, and so for me, I actually have to just take time out of my day and read. And that's hard for me. And so one book a month was hard, but one book every quarter, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to do it too. Kimberly says, my library doesn't have the book in any format. Wow. That's wild because I think it was a pretty popular book. Andrew said, plus our roommate had a bookstore and she was really struggling. So we were trying to get her business. Yeah, we were. Um, she was having a hard time at that point. And so we thought, what better way than to combine and have her order in the books for people if they wanted to purchase from her, and try and help her out that way and bring people into the store, which we were at that point, we were in the front and her store was in the back of the same place. So we shared space and it helped bring people who loved reading in. Um, let's see. Monica says, I'm listening to the book on Libby. I can listen in craft too. Yeah, I can't. I zone out. I have to pick one. Like my brain doesn't allow me. I love background noise. I cannot work in silence. I have a very hard time working in silence, but I need something that I don't have to pay attention to too hard. Like I need something that I've watched before, or music on repeat that I know already, old music that I know that it doesn't make my brain try to process anything. And then I can zone in on what I'm working on. I cannot do the two things. My brain does not work that way. I've never been good at it, but I do need background music, or voices or TV, or I have at times had the music and TV going. Like I like that. I like the feeling of feeling like there are people around me so I don't feel isolated or alone. It's kind of a comfort thing, I think. I've always liked that when I was a young kid. Even though I stayed up very late, I always liked when I would go to bed and I could still hear noises outside of my room. Like I still knew the family. Some members of my family were awake, or somebody was still watching TV. It always helped me sleep and always helped me feel calmer. And so I still like that. I don't like to be in a room by myself. It's hard for me sometimes doing these lives. Like I'm glad that y'all talk and comment, because I'm in a very quiet room, and it is hard for me if I start thinking about, like now I'm thinking about how quiet it is. Normally I just get in my own head about doing what I'm doing, but that's not being able to process two things at once. I can't do that. So for those of you who can, I admire that. I wish I were that way. Um, I can't soak it all in. Diane says, I like paper, getting it in soon, I hope. That's good. Yeah. I do like to read a physical book, but I read a book while we were doing some traveling on my Kindle, and I kind of really liked it as much as, Amazon. I have a love-hate relationship with them, as I think many of us do. Um, I did like the Kindle. I did. I used to have a Nook, but the Nooks have kind of turned into just digital tablets now. So I like the paper, the e-paper kind of Kindles and Nooks and stuff. I wish Nook still had. I don't think they have an e-paper one anymore. Because I used to try and at least support Barnes and Noble, but Kindle, just they make it easy. And I like the fact that I could change the lighting if I was in the dark and didn't keep it's not as bright as a cell phone, easier on your eyes. Because one of the things that I find difficult is I read a lot at night, and sometimes, most of the time, Andrew's not in the room because he's not ready for bed yet, but sometimes it is, and I don't want to leave the light on. um, but I did like the Kindle. It was nice and easy. It's hard for me to hold a book because I also do like hardback books, and it's hard to hold a book when you're trying to lay in bed. Like, um, so anyway, the Kindle is kind of nice, and but only the e-ink. I don't want a tablet. I could use my iPad or phone for that. I don't like that. What do you all like? For me, it's either going to be an e-ink device or an actual book. And that's the only way I like reading long reads like that. Andrew says, I can always whip something up. He is good at whipping something up for dinner. I don't know where he pulls out things. He makes bread, he makes doughs, he makes like he always finds something. I'm always offering to go grocery. He's like, I'll figure it out, and he does, which is and it's usually very good. Um, Andrew says in the old days, even sometimes the authors would look at what people made. Yeah, we used to do like little blogs about it, and we'd invite authors to we'd do into the Facebook group, and sometimes the authors would look at what people made inspired by their book, and they would join in on the conversation sometimes. It was really cool. Um, and that's when that was one of the things we did, and we really put a lot of he put a lot of effort into it, and it was really a kind of a big thing at one point. May says, I had a vegetarian meal on Sunday, spinach with arugula pesto with spaghetti. Nice. That sounds pretty good too. um Sorry, comments are jumping. Andrew says, people came from all over. Terry used to drive from Ohio. I know. We had a friend who every book club meeting, every month, she drove over hours from Ohio. And we would be out until 9, 10 o'clock at night. And she would drive back hours to Ohio just to come to book club meeting. I miss her. Um, but yeah, it was a thing. We meet up in person too, instead of virtually, which was kind of nice. Um, Vicky says, was interesting conversation. Spent some time with you. Must leave for dinner. Well, thank you, Vicky, for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Um, Andrew says, one of the most fun ones was when Sarah Joe and Eric came from Minnesota. Jeannie Marie came from North Carolina. Terry came from Ohio, and we had all the locals. Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one. Even I got to come down to that one. Sometimes I couldn't come down because of work or because I was busy doing things. Because I worked for both the car place and the restaurant. Sometimes I couldn't be around, but I got to be around for that one, and that was nice. A lot of they were often, I think, on Friday nights, and I would miss out because I went to the restaurant on Fridays. Len says, I'm quiet because I'm using my Frida kit to make earrings. Nice. Susan says, May, that sounds fantastic. Anne says, I can't listen to a book even if that's all I'm doing. But when I read, I get so into it, I miss my bus stop sometimes. I do. I have a very hard time just listening to because I zone out. Um, like when I watch TV, I like to have subtitles because it helps me keep my brain active while I'm watching and active on the thing. Because if I'm just watching a TV show and I don't have subtitles, I will sometimes zone completely out. And it's the same with listening to a book. Um, I can listen to it for a while and then I will realize that, you know how you sometimes realize you haven't read the page or like 3 pages because you've been doing something else in your head too? I get that way when I listen. So I can't even say that that's just a listening thing because I can literally be reading a book and read like 2 pages and be like, what did I just read? Because I'm also thinking of other things. So that same thing happens, but it happens more often when I'm trying to listen than when I'm actually reading the book. So that's a good point too, Anne. I'm the same way. Susan says, same Amazon relationship here. There are some things I have trouble finding anywhere else, though. Yeah, it's true. Um, can't find them somewhere else. Harder to get. Um, it's difficult. Um, but they do make it convenient. I have to say that. Um, Norma says, I have a new Nook with the paper look, not a tablet. Very lightweight and usable in sunlight. I didn't know they still had a Nook like that. Because the last time I had checked, they pretty much just had the digital, like a tablet, some kind of or Android tablet. I didn't realize they had a paper one. That's interesting. Because I had one of the original ones, and I didn't really like it. I'll have to look into that when it's time. I'm not buying one just to buy one, but um, if my Kindle goes, when my Kindle goes, I guess is the question, right? Because it's digital, it's all going to go at some point. Marion says, I read on my phone all the time. I just can't get into it. I think it's because I do get distracted. I have too much. Even when I put on Do Not Disturb, myself, I can't control myself. I end up thinking, oh, I should check my Facebook, or I should do this, or I should check the email, or it's hard. If I'm just on my other device, then I'm just doing that. Diane says, I used to have a Kobo. I refuse to buy a Kindle. I don't need another electronic device. Yeah, I've heard about Kobos too. Um, that was, um, who did that? That was another big bookstore that I don't know that they're still in business. Um, Borders? I think Borders paired up with Kobo for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I know there's some other tablets that you can move books too, but I Kindle makes it easy. They do make it easy. You don't have to do any translation. You don't have to try to find the book anywhere. You just go in and you go and hit buy. It's hard. Leslie says, real books only for me. Yeah, I prefer that too, except, when I'm traveling, sometimes it's hard. And also laying in bed, sometimes I just don't want to hold the book above because I usually don't sit up in bed because I know the cats are going to come in. So it's such a stupid thing, but I know the cats are going to come in and sleep with me. And so I try and get as comfortable in bed with the cats as possible, which means not sitting up because then I got to kind of slink and move them to get into the covers. It's amazing how much I plan my life around them. Um, so I try and get in there and all situated so that when I'm ready for bed, I can just set the book aside and I can go to sleep with the cats. And that usually means holding the book above my head to read it. And it's hard. I have a book that I've been trying to read that I'm actually super interested in, but every time I even think about getting in bed to read, it's just kind of annoying. I almost have bought it. You don't know how many times I've almost bought the same book I already own on the Kindle just because it would be easier to hold to read. Um, Susan says, I can't watch TV while crafting. I usually listen to music. Yes, everybody has different things, right? I can do music and I can do TV. I have preferred TV most recently. So I watch YouTube or I turn on, I stream something from Netflix or Amazon from Prime. And that I seem to have worked better with recently, but I go through phases. There was a time before that I didn't like the TV as much, and I just listened to music. Um, I think it depends how much, what I'm doing and where, uh, and just my moods. Um, Susan also prefers physical books, even though they can be bulky and take up room. Yeah, that's one of the hard things. I try and not travel too heavily when we do. And most days I carry like one little bag. Not that I have time in my day, but if I'm going to go somewhere and do something, I want to have my book. It's easier just to throw a Kindle in there, honestly. Or if we go for a weekend somewhere, um, you know. Susan says, Anne, you are very focused. Yeah, it's good to lose yourself in a book though, right? Andrew says, I'm also hard of hearing. I wonder if our neighbors can hear the TV. Yeah, we watch the subtitles because Andrew is a little hard of hearing. We do turn the TV up probably louder than we need to, but you do things that you have to do, right? Um, Andrew says, because they might be hearing some interesting things, especially on his books. Yes, he's got some interesting books. Diane says Borders. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Andrew says Italy was nice because we were doing hotspots and it limited how much I was on. Yeah, we tried not to use too much data, or use our data as much, so we would turn it on and off. So we weren't always on data all the time, and it was nice. Um, Jennifer says maybe get a wedge pillow. Yeah, those are I've thought about that. I actually did have one of those. I think at one point when I was younger. Um, Going through college and trying to do reading and didn't have cats then though, but um yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me. I really need to get into the habit of reading before I go up to bed and then just going to bed. And then I could read on the couch with the cats and that would be better. Andrew says, I listen to like a book a night. So if we did physical books, there'd be nowhere to walk. Yeah. And you could not do a physical book a night. You just couldn't do that while you're crafting. It wouldn't be possible. Lenses love Kobo. They have something like KU, um, but they don't hurt the author by demanding exclusivity. I buy a lot from Kobo, the Canadian company. Walmart bought the US rights. Lenses, you don't have to have their reader. You can download books, if not DRM, or read in the browser. Yeah, and that's what I mean though. Like, I don't know. I know you know where to go. I don't know where I would go to buy non-DRM'd books. Um, like I don't even know where you would do that any to put them on another reader. Um, Jennifer says yes, reading as a pastime. I used to do that with my mom. Read in the same room. Yeah, it's nice when you can get together and do that, right? We don't do that much anymore. At least I don't, and I should. Marion says I use the Kobo app. Does it have a catalog where you can download through the Kobo app, where you can download books? Like if we wanted the Glassmaker from that, can you get it through the app? Um, yeah. Anyway, I don't know how that works. Sometimes when you get into something that's convenient, and that's what it is, it's hard to get out of. It tells you at the bottom of each page on Kobo, DRM is decided by the author or publisher. Yeah, like I don't know, can you get the Glassmaker through that and download it? That's the thing. Like a lot of e-ink tablets have the ability to read books on, so you wouldn't have to do that. But then you have to find the ones that are not DRM'd in a certain way. Which, if you don't know, DRM is digital rights management. So if they don't, if they're not locked into a particular place, you can put them on anything. But finding those, I have no idea where you go to find non-DRM'd books from like major publishers. I think most of them have made deals with a lot of people, like Kindle, and that I don't know where you would get them without DRM or in a way that you can do that. Maybe directly from the publisher. Maybe. I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody have an answer to that? I don't actually know. Anyway, this has been an interesting conversation, and it has passed the time much quicker than I thought because I didn't realize it's been over an hour already. So let's get started with showing you some stuff that's up for sale. How about that? I'm going to move my laptop over here. I always have that in case I can't get comments. I'm going to turn on some lights here too. And I'm going to fire up the email. Andrew says, I've been kind of looking into digital publishing. I want to do some print on demand. Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, let me flip this camera. Marion says, and the Glassmaker is available. So see, that's nice. Is it DRM'd to only the Kobo then, if you buy it from the Kobo store? Or can you put it on any device? Maybe I need to start shopping for books through the Kobo store and get a different. I kind of there's some really nice e-ink tablets I've been looking at, but again, not that I need them. Andrew says traditional publishing is hard to break into. Yeah, that's true. Marian says I never checked that. Okay, don't know. I don't know either. First, y'all, I wanted to show you. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Len says it is Adobe DRM due to the publisher Penguin Group. Okay. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. And did y'all know we have a St. Patrick's Day inspiration kit? If you don't know, now you do. We've only got a few of these, as long as nobody's bought them out. I did a reel for them earlier today. This is a really nice kit that Andrew put together. It has this vintage plastic beads. It's full of vintage stuff. Vintage plastic with this AB finish. which is really cool. These are really awesome beads. I love these. So you get those. You're going to get these beautiful vintage plastic beads. Anderson's a pretty plush kit. Yeah, this is a nice kit. There's a lot in it. I think it's $26 or $28. I think 26 if I'm not mistaken. Should have looked at that, but you get a lot. So you get those. You get this. This is a brass punch 4-leaf clover charm from Providence, Rhode Island. That's a vintage piece. Vintage pressed brass, punched brass. And then you get all of this. These are all strands. What are there? 6 strands? 6 strands of vintage check glass in here. So Sue says, lovely early spring colors. They are, right? So you get this. And just because it's St. Patrick's Day doesn't mean you have to use it for that. Remember that, right? You get this strand of vintage check, the drooks. You get these tiny little drooks. You get these. Marianne's going into lurking mode. Lurk away, Marianne. Thank you for being here. And these are those kind of dual color drooks. Is that considered givre? And then you get these, this one, kind of this celery AB finish. And then you get some Lucerna bicones in there as well. So all vintage stuff, a whole kit full of wonderful vintage things. This is our St. Patrick's Day 2026 inspiration kit, and you can get that currently in our online store at allegorygallery.com. There were only a few of those left, I believe. So if you do like those, I hope you'll grab them soon. I think this kit out of our current kits has the most available though still, but I don't think there are many. And like I said, I don't know if anybody bought any since I showed it off in the reels earlier today. Okay. And then if you missed out, I don't know if I've shown this here recently or not. This is the Cloud Dancer kit. We keep talking about this and I keep forgetting to bring it home. So I don't think I've shown it in a while. This is Cloud Dancer, and you get a lot of beautiful beads in this. So you get these are vintage Venetian. We carried these home from Italy for y'all. These beautiful white vintage Venetian beads. So you get those. And then I think these are vintage German or vintage Czech. And these are faceted rounds. You get these mother of pearl leaf or wing, whatever you want to do with them, beads or drops. They're drilled, top drilled like this through. So you get 2 of those. You get an Allegory Gallery fine pewter silver toggle. And then these are vintage Japanese. Whoa, if I can get it. Look at that. Perfectly attaching itself. These are vintage Japanese drops in white. So vintage Japanese glass drops. You get a whole strand of those. These are mother of pearl rounds. You get a whole strand of mother of pearl rounds, and they're really pretty. Get those. And then these are a crystal, kind of milky milk glass kind of crystal. Really pretty. And that is available. That's our Cloud Dancer kit. And that is available at allegorygallery.com as well, if you've missed out on that. And we've had a few people who've ordered this one multiple times because they love it so much. And they're really making some pretty stuff with it. If y'all know Cheryl, she's been making some really lovely things with the kit. If you've seen in the Design Challenges group. And then I think these, I don't know if we still have them. We had them separately in the online store as well for this strand, if you like those. Andrew also says, for anyone interested, Gertie is doing better. She was playing her ass off last night. Yeah, she was. She's doing much better. Kimberly says, I'm excited to get mine. Yes, 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 yes. And then we have the Easter kit. This is probably one of my most favorite kits out of these holiday kits that we've kind of created, or I say we, Andrew has created. He is, you know, I love pastels. If you know me, you know that. And so this is right up my alley. You get 2 little bunny charms. Susan says, glad Gertie is better. Me too. You get this little bunny charm, and you get this. This one is pewter. This one is stainless steel. Both two-sided. So they're great for using as charms that way when they're two-sided like that. And then you get the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter. This is the modern toggle. The color palette reminds me of candy, says Susan. It's true. Don't eat the beads, y'all. Don't eat the beads. And then we have this strand, which I think is similar to the one we have in the St. Patrick's Day kit, that kind of celery AB one. So you get that in here. And then you have these giant glass rounds in the pastels. Lovely, lovely, lovely. They do remind me of those chocolate Easter candies. And then you get these polymer beads. So the polymer discs or heishis, you get a whole strand of those. And so that's super fun. Love that kit. That's one of my favorite kits. And it's not sold out yet. So you can still get that at allegorygallery.com. I put the kits right up toward the top of the page, in the product section on the home page, so it'd be easy for y'all to find and easy for people to look for them. So you can grab those if you would like. Still got a few of each. Some of them, there's only like 2 of each left, something like that. So yeah. Candy necklace kit, says Anna, right? Absolutely. 100%. Okay. Let's see. Trying to think of a lot. I think we've never done POL. So I'm going to do POL lots tonight. POL is the lot number tonight. Let me put up the banner in case we've got anyone news lurking out there wondering how you can claim tonight. We'll give you a piece of paper. We're very high tech. Give you a piece of paper with a lot number. It's going to also have a price. And if there's a number in this corner, that's how many we have at the price we're going to show you. So let me just take you on a quick tour here. We're going to have this one $8 one. So there's one lot of these. There will be $8 for the lot, and there's one available of POL1. If you'd like to claim this, send us an email to info@allegorygallery.com with POL1 in the subject line. That's all you got to do. Send a new email every time. Please do not reply to any old emails to send a new one. It groups things in a bad way in our inbox. Just put us in your contact list, send us a new email, fresh one, anytime you want to claim anything. And if you are new, please make sure we have your shipping address and the email address you would like us to use for invoicing. It is if it is different than your claiming email. All right. So this is POL1. Everybody, these are lamport glass beads in this beautiful spring green and white. I figured that would go wonderfully if you want to use it with this kit or this kit, right? You've got both the green and the white in there. I could even see you blending it with this kit if you wanted to. So you get all 4 of these beads, Lamport glass, for $8 in the green and white, POL1. One available. POL2. This is a luxury bead blend that Andrew made, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these available. We normally do them for 12. I'll do them for 10 for y'all tonight. You know, you get the best prices when you watch our live. This is the luxury bead blend of these very pretty blues, beiges, and oranges mainly. Blues, oranges, and beiges. I think these are really nice bead blends. And we've got 5 of these available. Love, love, love these. Everyone's a little bit different, but it looks like you've got some furnace glass in there, some vintage check, lots of vintage check actually. Looks like some carnelian. Beautiful beads, some seed beads, vintage seed beads in there. Really pretty. Look at those ambers in there too. And that's POL2, $10 per package, 5 packs available of our luxury bead blend. Andrew says, oh, I got a surprise in the mail. A friend sent me a chain making book. I've been wanting it since it came out, but it's kind of spendy. Yeah, it's kind of spendy, and there was a long wait on it. So that was super nice of them to get that for you. He got a gift for my birthday. No, it's really nice, and we're very appreciative of it for sure. All right, POL3. Let me see how many we have of these. We've got 4 of these available. We had these at 18. I'll do a little better for you. POL, oop, just dropped the paper. POL3. These are a peach moonstone. Beautiful peach moonstone teardrop shape, flattened teardrop. And they've got such a nice color to them. Some of that beautiful chatoyance that you get from moonstone. But just in these drops, they're kind of nice because they're not super high end, so they're not very super expensive, but they're still a really pretty quality stone. And so we've got 4 strands of those, $14 a strand, POL3. Jennifer says, Andrew, start making a chain and you will definitely be up all night. Yeah, chain making, that's a tough thing. All right, let's see, where do we have these at? Ooh. These are really nice. These are sterling silver bars with roses. And we're going to do them at $10 a pair only. POL4. These are sterling silver rose blossom bars. So you can see, oops, there are 3 holes. And they are, find my calipers, where'd I put them? There they are. They are approximately 6.5 by 17.5 millimeters. So they're $10 a pair. And we've got 2 pair available. I didn't write that down. 2 pairs available. Because they are sterling silver, they may have oxidized in some cases here and there, just so you know. And you can polish them up if you want to. Jennifer says it's hardcore when you make your own rings. We do make our own jump rings in the studio sometimes, but we have a jump ring maker to do that, which is useful and actually very nice. But yeah, you know, we've sold one of the POL3s. Thank you so much. We still have 3 of those left. POL5. I have some more dishes from Harry. I'm going to show you some of those. POL5 is this beautiful dish by Harry. $18 for an introductory price. Harry Wood, POL5. Jennifer says, do those bars with roses have loops on them? They do. They don't have loops, but they have holes. You can see the holes through there. 3 holes, 1 under each rose blossom. So they're done that way. So I'm assuming if you wanted to do like use them in a bracelet, like a 3-strand bracelet, they'd be really pretty to use on that. And I think that's a really good price for sterling silver right now, because that was priced long before the prices have gone up and 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 up. POL6. This is another dish from Harry Wood. POL6 is this. Jennifer says, got it. I was thinking bracelet bar. Yep. And so they are bracelet bars pretty much. I mean, you could use them in other things, of course, but some people do 3-strand like necklaces and stuff and use those to help separate, and they're really good. But bracelet is mainly what people use them for. This is a nice little dish from Harry. Again, kind of a slab built. And that is POL6. POL7 is also from Harry. And this is this gorgeous red. And I love the glaze even on the outside of this. Is super cool. And that's POL7. $18 for these introductory prices. Usually I charge about $22 for these dishes from Harry. So I'm doing them at $18 introduction pricing. So that might be, there we go. I've got one more, at least. And that's this one with these little built feet. So they've got the feet built out in multiple slabs. And this is the top. So that's POL8, $18 as well. We've sold both of the POL4s. Thank you so much. I'm going to take those away. So both pairs have sold. Thank you. Thank you. POL4 sold out. POL5 down. POL6 down. 7 up here. Try and keep those. We'll move this one up here just to clear that out of there. Okay. POL9. Andrew at one point we talk about why we never kept up with doing some things. Oh, Ford just tried to sell again. Sorry, they are sold out. Andrew did at one point some laser etched enamel pendants, and we never really continued doing them, at least yet, but they came out pretty nice. And we sold them as kind of samples at one point, but then they disappeared. So um, generally these are about half price. Normally we would sell this for about $64 to $68, probably for the pendant. Um, so because they were samples, like look how nice this is. And this is kind of a matte enamel. I think he acid etched, if I'm not mistaken, the enamel. Um, and then did a laser engraving of one of his pieces of artwork. And look at how beautifully that came out. And so that's POL 9, half price, $32 instead of $64. Because he was just kind of testing things out, but it still came out well enough to sell. We just never went into production on them. Kimberly says, well, darn it, I got off the live feed. Oh no. Gotta keep up with the live, right? Stay up live. POL 9 is this pendant by Andrew. One of them available as a sample. It was originally a sample. Andrew says those turned out good. I know they turned out so good. I don't know why we ever stopped, really. Well, they're a lot of work. I know that. I'm going to do at least another one or two of these. This is a smaller one. This is POL 10. And this is this little red panda. Where it says, I got a call, was watching on my iPad. Oh, I see. And this is that little red panda etched on a light blue enamel. And that is, like I said, it's a slightly smaller pendant. This one is 30, I think 30 by 40. Yeah, 30 by 40, whereas this one is 36 by 46. There was such a cute panda. Yeah, that's from Andrew's Noble Creature series. He drew that originally and then digitized it and turned it into a pretty good laserable version of that hand-drawn image. I'm surprised, like he worked hard. He got a lot of nice detail on that one. Same on this one. These were all hand drawings originally, and to turn them into laserable images is not easy sometimes. Let me see, going through some of these to see what else we might have. Ooh, this one's really nice. POL 11. Remember, you're getting these at half price of what they would have been if we did them in production or if we ever do them in production. POL 11. Come on. I want to come out of the bag. Is this wonderful bee, and he did it on this kind of shimmer. I don't know if you can see. It's like an opalescent enamel. So it's blue, green, and kind of almost a red. Like there's a purpley color to it when it hits the light differently. Andrew said, those are when you were diagnosed with your heart issues. I would draw them in the waiting room. Yeah. For the noble creatures. And it says, looks like robin's egg. This one does. This one, like I said, is more of a shimmer. I mean, even robin's eggs sometimes feel like those actual eggs have a shimmer coating to them. But this is the bee. And so that is POL 11. Let me see if there's any more in here. Let me show you. Okay, we'll do one more at least. Nobody's grabbed any of these, so maybe people aren't into them. That's all right. Maybe it's good we didn't go into production too much into these. But this is a smaller version of the B, POL 12, $26. I like how the B looks fuzzy in these, the way he designed it and laser cut it. It's POL 12. Okay, I'm going to let's do one more, and then I'm going to stop with those. POL 13, $24. This is the bear. The bear on a nice kind of matte white or matte cream background. And Anne asked, do you have a shimmery one that is not a bee? Bugs creep me out. Unfortunately, no, I do not. I do not. That's it. Sorry. It is a nice, the shimmer is nice. Oh, we did sell POL 12. Thank you so much. Somebody liked that one. And these ones back in here. Let's see. All right. Okay. Let me set those aside for now. Move these over. Andrew's asking, Anne, what do you want? Might be able to make something for you. Oh, we've just sold 10. Thank you. 10 is now sold. Oh, I'm glad you're liking these. I love these. They probably look better in person than on the camera. That's probably a thing too. Kim says, are you surprised that a particular person liked it? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. They're both Bugs and Artisan by Andrew, so not surprised at all. Thankful that you do. Oh, we just sold 11 as well. So 11 has been sold. Thank you, thank you. Guess everybody's just waiting to see all the ones that I'm going to put out, right? Okay. So we've got the noble creature still left, the owl, which is one of Andrew's favorite creatures, and the bear. I always think of this as a mama bear. I don't know if Andrew designed it as male, female, or what, they, them, but it always feels like a mama protection bear to me. Every time I see it, I think that's that mama protection bear. So yeah, anyway. I think Andrew also just designs things and puts them out, and you put your own spin on them. He always talks about that. And to me, that has always been my spin on that bear, is that it's a mama protection bear. Kimberly says, gotta have an Andrew bug, right? Everybody needs an Andrew bug. All right. I also have these, and I have multiple ones of these. So I'm going to show you. They are $14. POL 14. $14. Kimberly says, I see that, William. Absolutely a queen mama bear, right? Any mama bears out there? I think that's an awesome thing. Andrew did these. I have multiples. I don't know how many I have. I have to count them, but they're all in the bag. Um, they're all similar but different because they may be placed differently, not exactly. And this is a bee on this beautiful shell, this bright yellow shell. It is drilled top to bottom this way. So it's Andrew's bee on these. We have multiples of these available if you'd like more than one. They're $14 each only. I think they make awesome earrings. But they'd also make a nice little pendant if you just like, I don't know, where do I have? Like even just on something with this kind of ambery color, or like I still have this, a lot of this stuff, which if you got this bead blend by Andrew, a lot of this stuff I have here came in a bead blend that Andrew had. I don't know if I still have the bead blend, but I used it for my citrus bracelet. And like, I think a lot of this stuff kind of would go really well. We've had some of these, like, I call these orange slice strands, that vintage check glass. We've had that for sale before. We've had these come in a bead blend with some of these other beads, but that could be really pretty to put together as well with POL 14. We've sold one of the 14 so far. Anne says it would be cool to have a shimmery one with my noble creature on it. I got the bunny wearing a ruff with a button pin at the neck, or I'm open. I usually like everything except bugs. So there you go, Andrew. Andrew says sometimes the birds, the genders are assigned. Such a pretty shell pendant, says Jennifer. I think these are really nice. So that's 14, $14. I do love that little, that bunny wearing a ruff. I love that one. It's a good one. Sorry, everybody, taking a drink. All right. Very thirsty today. All right. Let's see, what else have I got? Oh, I thought these were fun. Um, these are just $1 each. $1 each. There are 2 of them available. These are just a dyed chip, but done in these bright kind of orangey yellows. And I think they're really nice colors heading into spring, summer. And of course, I'm into citrus stuff. And so as soon as I saw these, they're just like these mini strands, $1 each. We've got 2 of them available. POL 15. POL 15. Let me put some of these away. POL 1. Nobody grab POL 1? Those are those beautiful Lamport glass in the greens and blacks and whites. I also didn't give you the size, I don't think, on these. These are about 18 millimeter rondelles. $8 for the whole set of 4, only $2 a bead. POL1. We grabbed any of these, the POL2s, Luxury Bead Blend by Andrew. I need to get all these luxury bead blends in the online store. People buy them like crazy when I have them in there. And I need to get them in there. POL2. I just need to get pictures. Taking pictures and writing descriptions, hardest part. POL3, we've sold one of these. We still have 3 of those available. And I'm going to move some of these away too. Harry's Bowls, POL5, POL6, POL7, and POL8. Move those off to the side. Oops. And I'll move these up. POL9 is still available, the owl. POL13, the mama bear. POL14, we still have more of these available. And then POL15, also still available. Did you? And next up, Andrew says, I wish we had enough money to hire V again. Oh, I know. V was so good at adding things to our online store. And it was like every day we were having something new being added. It was so nice. I'd like to get into just adding like 3 or 4 things every day. That would be nice. It's not too much, but at least it's something new every day. I just have to build that into my routine. This is a shorty strand of these amazing copper nuggets. Shorty strand. I think, what am I at here? It's 8, about a 9-inch strand. A 9-inch strand, 3.5 millimeter copper nuggets. These are really nice for spacers or add some metallic interest. And it's $8 for the strand. Only one strand available of those. $8 for the strand. POL 16. We had some nice copper stuff in the D stash last night. We had some copper faceted cubes and brushed copper coins. So if you missed that in the D stash on Facebook, check those out. There's still, I think both of those things are still available as far as I have seen. We've had a few people claiming 16. Thank you so much. There's only the one. It is. Oh, somebody else just tried to grab 16. Sorry, 16 sold. I'm going to put it away before it teases anybody else. 4 people have tried to claim. I wish I had more. It's that $8 price point, right? It's a good deal. Let's see here. Let's do this $5. This is a hand-carved coconut shell pendant in the shape of a starfish. Coconut shell pendant, hand-carved, super lightweight. Like you could use that as an earring. And with some big old earrings. So super cool, super lightweight. It is about 58 millimeters by 48 millimeters. Jennifer says, great spacers are in demand. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I'm glad we could have a few for y'all. Somebody else just tried to grab 16. Sorry. Sorry, believe me, I wish I had more. If I could sell 5 or 6 of those, I'd love to, y'all. POL 18, carved coconut shell alligator, crocodile. I think that's a crocodile, right? Carved coconut shell, crocodile. One available, POL 18, $7. Says that is really cool, starfish and on trend. I'm assuming, I have not necessarily seen the trend, but I have been getting so many. I mean, so many. We don't get tons of orders, but for the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter collection, I've been getting a lot of octopus. Even Andrew's octopus polymer clay pendants. I've sold a few of those recently. He had some bronze octopus pendants. I don't know if there are any left, but I've been selling those. Octopuses and mermaids, sea creatures. Apparently, it is starting to happen because I've been selling a number of them recently. So there's something going on there with sea creatures. I'm seeing the trend as people are shopping. And finding us. I don't know where this symbol comes from, but it's kind of like a two-headed bird or phoenix, something. This is another hand-carved coconut, super lightweight. These already have nice large bells on them because sometimes the holes are deeper, so they made sure to add these nice large bells on there for you. Kimberly says, love sea creatures. Yeah, right. Apparently they are, because I've been getting orders for them out of nowhere. Like suddenly people are ordering more and more of our sea creatures in the fine pewter collection. We've got mermaids, we've got I think we have little starfish, we have octopus. I know I just sold some of the large octopus today and some of the smaller ones. There's some nice, really large ones. They're my favorite. I think they're pretty much my favorite thing in the Allegory Gallery Fine Pewter collection. This one, not a cheap date, but a nice one. Was $150, bringing them down to $100 for you all. These are treated opals. These are natural opals that have been treated to color them. And what's really nice about these is that these are a high quality opal that they start with. So they're, a lot of times when you get dyed opals, which we have those too, a lot of times they're like the pink opal or the blue opal that they dye. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they don't have the flash. These, you still see that opalescent flash. So they used real, either Ethiopian or Australian, Australian, Ethiopian crystal or opal. These are real, and they treated these. Look at that one. Ooh. And they treated these to give you these beautiful colored candy, Like look at that flash. These are not synthetic. These are real opals that have been treated to give you these beautiful colors, but also retain their original opal flash. Like, look at those. And so if you are doing something, for Easter, or you want some of this kind of candy look, these are super cool. Jennifer says, I looked up the double-headed eagle lately and found it is an old heraldic symbol used in Germany and thereabouts. Okay, good to know. These are so pretty. One strand has slightly, I would say, slightly larger ones on it. They are graduated anyway. So I don't know that they actually are larger. They just graduate differently. But they graduate from about 4.5 up to 7 on that one. Yeah, these go to about 7 and start at about 4.5 as well. So very similar strands. POL 20. They are $100 each because they are genuine, real, high quality opals that they start with, and then they're gone. They go through a process to color them, to dye them, and they're also on sterling silver extender chains and sterling silver lobster claws. You can see the 925 right there on the lobster claw. And so there you go. We've got 2 of them available. If anybody's interested in those, POL 20. That'd be a nice sell tonight if anybody wants them. They are really pretty. And it's a really fun color palette they've got. Jennifer says, I would be sorting the colors for sure. That's a thing you could do too. You could absolutely sort them out and use them color by color, which would be really pretty. I mean, imagine making some earrings with, like, I don't see, if I can get it to flash over here. You see, it's all in the way the light hits it. It was flashing right at me. Yeah, you can't see it because of the way it's held. But like, oh, like that one, sorting by that color, that blue gray seems to flash really well. The greens and this blue, this kind of aqua. Imagine that with some sea creatures right there. Yeah, there's some nice stuff on those. So you could play with them like candy bracelets, candy necklaces, like for adults where you're going to spend that money. But also you could sort by color and organize them by color and size and make beautiful earrings probably with those. Yeah, what's next? What's next? This one. Okay. Okay. These are jade. Let's see. What did we have on those? We had 20 each. I'll do them for 16 each. There are 2 of them. These are beautiful jade, vintage jade. They're a dyed jade. They're slightly green and slightly pink dyed. Almost purpley in some cases. But just like kind of that kiss of color, it almost looks like a kunzite, a little pinky purpley color, and a little kiss of green here and there. And that's a nice, I think, a great way to incorporate a little bit of color if you want to, because the base is white. So if you wanted to incorporate a little bit of color in like the Cloud Dancer, but just to have a way to introduce that color so it's not so starkly introduced, in either green or pink or purple. This is a 6mm faceted jade, vintage. 2 vintage strands available only, $16 a strand. Let's see if I can get this wound up a little bit. Sit nice. You know I hate these long, makes me crazy. That's so much better. POL 22. 12. And for 10 each. I've got 6 of these. These are polymer clay by Andrew. POL 22. And these are Andrew's crowned skulls. And he did this in this kind of gunmetal color. These were done last year. These didn't get put into the online store. They will, now that I found them again, if they don't sell tonight. So, and they will go up to at least $12. I have to see what the current size going rate is for those. That is POL 22. These are approximately about 29.5 millimeters. Skulls, polymer clay skulls by Andrew. Crown skull. POL 22. Ooh. Now these, I'm going to give you a nice discount on these. They're still a spendy strand. POL 23. These are quartz crystal drops. Beautiful quality, vintage strand. They are flat-backed drops of hand-carved quartz crystal or hand-faceted quartz crystal. And that flat back allows them to sit nicely when you're using them in jewelry. There's just enough inclusions in some of them to know they're not glass. Some of them are super clear. You'd have a hard time saying or not, but they are a beautiful quartz crystal drop. Like I said, hand faceted. You can see they've been hand faceted. They're really, really beautiful. And they'd be great also if you're looking for using something at the bottom of, what's the word? I want to say sun catcher. Yeah, sun catcher. That's the word. Andrew says, if those don't sell, add them to my pile. So you've got until the end of this live, y'all, or these go to Andrew. They're 19 by 28 millimeters. Approximate thickness, about 11.5 millimeters. That's one beautiful strand of those. POL 23, $98. Last chance for those. Andrew's taking them. If you don't, I actually think are they graduated? They are slightly graduated, honestly. So that size, it's not for all of them. That's kind of a mid-size there. POL 23, one strand only, and only available tonight. Andrew's reabsorbing it into his collection. That came from a vintage buyout we did. Vintage quartz crystal. I'm going to put away, let me show this to you. I'm going to put away this one. POL 9. Nobody grabbed that one yet. POL 13. How are y'all doing out there? What'd you make for dinner, y'all? I'm getting hungry now. In POL 14, we still have some of these available. This is the dyed shell with the laser etched bee from Andrew. They are two-sided, so they're great for earrings or a charm. Super lightweight. POL 14, $14 each. POL 15. Nobody grabbed any of these? There's two of those available, only $1 each. Andrew's cooking something, I smell it. I don't know what he's managing to make, but starfish. One of those available, POL 17. And we'll put the alligator or crocodile, POL 18, $7. Okay, I'm going to move these up. So there's a kind of a nice, I think I did a good job, a nice assortment of things tonight. Things that could be pendants, things that could be charms, artisan, different kinds of stone. I was very eclectic today. Let's see, is there one here? POL 24 was 14. Let's make it 10. These are these Millefiori rectangle beads. These are 12.5 millimeters by about 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 beads on there. I believe these are Korean. I'm not 100% sure. But they're really pretty. We had some Korean ones the other night. Could be wrong on that though. Beautiful strand, only $10. POL 24. Nice light blue background. Yeah. Next up, these are opalite. Again, I hate that. Opalite rounds. Beautiful color. $16 for this. Excuse me, $16 for the strand. One strand available. 8mm rounds of beautiful opalite. Look at that glow. Look at that color. Those are really pretty beads. Oh, we just sold 24. Millefiori. I had a feeling that one would go. And these are beautiful lustery beauties. One strand of those, POL 25. I'm going to put 24 away. Since that is sold, thank you. Ooh. Wow. Okay. This is a coated labradorite. It's a vintage strand. It's got that platinum coating. These are faceted rondelles. You can see a lot of really good natural labradorite flash, and then you've got that extra kind of platinum silver on top. And they're also kind of rough, which is, I think, really adds to their beauty. Like, look, oh, I'm those are I'm enamored with those. They were 32 for the strand. I'll bring them down to 24 for you, POL 26. And these are 7.5 millimeters approximately. 7 to 7.5. That's 7.5. That's a kind of a lot of vintage beads come in that 7.5 size or 7 size. But look at how good those are. Those are flashy, brilliant labradorite. It's got the platinum coating, and that strand has just sold. Thank you so much. I didn't think that one was going to hang around long, honestly. It's too good. And that price, too good. 427. Wow. These are from Andrew's stash, I believe. And I'm going to use this price since this is one he authorized before, but they didn't sell that one time. These are a rough kyanite. And they are drops. So they're drilled up there. And they're drilled in various places, actually. This one is drilled through the center. This one is also through the center. This one is through the top. I had somebody come into the store looking for this exact thing. They found something else, but I need to, if these don't sell, I should probably take them into the store so we have some of these. Somebody wanted some kyanite drops, but the ones we have in the store aren't drilled. And these are really nice. Rough kyanite drops. If you're watching, these are available now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them for $12. POL 27. And it says, yep, missed those labradorite. They are so good. Can't look away too long, y'all. Gonna put the good stuff out. We always put the good stuff out. Like these next ones coming up. POL 28. These are only $16 for the pair. I've got one pair available. These are these beautiful cones. $16 for the pair. Beautiful silver work there. and nice large holes. These are about 13 millimeters by 24. Yep, 13 by 24. Two of those available. One pair available. POL 28. And this is LOL. I was waiting for you to say the lot number again. Ah, I see. Sorry, Hannah. Sorry. Andrew says, one of our stone vendors, he just got back from Tucson. He said if I can send him $2,500, he'll put an extra special box together. Ooh, that would be nice. Oh, we just sold the pair. Thank you so much. Yeah, Tucson was I think hard for a lot of vendors. There was news that about a third of the vendors never were able to make it. And so I think some people who were there did well because there was a third of the place missing. But also, I think some people had a really hard time. So $2,500, that's a really heck of a good deal. If we could get a special box, I think I know which vendor you're talking about, and they always do amazing things. Andrew says, I want the kyanite if it doesn't sell. Okay, so 27 is going to be Andrews if it doesn't sell, and 23 is going to be Andrews if it doesn't sell. Kimberly says Gollum didn't make it. Yeah, a lot of places from out of the country, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Was really hard. Jenner says the labradorite chunky rectangles from the live were a similar style, but without the coating, I believe. Chunky rectangles from the live. I don't know which ones those were. You mean from the D-stash, Jennifer? From the D-stash? They had some nice flash. They were more green. If you're talking about the D-stash ones, they were more green. These ones are more gray. Yeah, from the D-stash. The D-stash labradorite is that green labradorite, which I love. It has that kind of mossy. Well, I grew up by a lake, and it reminds me of when the lake gets a little bit algae and a little bit of the seaweed, not seaweed, whatever grows. I don't know what is under there. But when it gets the sea plants, the lake plants growing, I love that green labradorite. It's beautiful. All right. This is a pendant by Harry Wood. Ceramic pendant. POL 29 is this beautiful moon face. Ceramic pendant by Harry. And that is POL 29, $14 on that. And that is 45 approximately by 55 and a half. But super light because he's kept it super thin. Nice flat back on there. Not heavy at all. I know people who would wear that as an earring. And gorgeous color. Like look at that together. And I mean, if you added some kyanite in there, I know Andrew kind of wants to keep that. But look at those together. And especially even like the person who got the labradorite. I know that person has opalite too. That could be really pretty together. All right, let me put this back. All right, and the last one tonight. What have I got? POL 30. What do I got left in my bag here? Oh, this is fun. For those of you who like The natural, like I think natural magnesite and oh, what's the other one? What's the other one we had earlier? I always forget that name. Magnesite comes to my brain. This is magnesite. Um, oh, the other one they die all the time. This is a lot. This is a lot. Um, this is a lot. You get this whole bunch of natural magnesite, this beautiful white color. I think it's so beautiful on its own. Howlite. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, howlite. I think this is magnesite. I'm pretty sure. Um, and this is a nice vintage, used to be a strand, fell apart. There's some in here, like this one wasn't part of that strand, but we threw it in there because we had it. A little cube. Um, some of these you can tell they're different veining. The grays were from something else. And then you've got these with the brown, a little bit of brown in there. But for if you're making things with Cloud Dancer, you're going to want white beads, right? And these are naturally white like this. Really pretty. You get the whole bunch of them for 20 bucks. Howlite has the gray streaks. Okay, so this is, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Howlite, this is magnesite here mostly, and then you've got a few howlite pieces thrown in. So there's howlite, and then the rest is magnesite. And this is magnesite as kind of brown. So there you go. I always think of like magnesite always feels more cratery, and I like it. It looks like it's got like these craters in it, whereas howlite doesn't usually. It's more smooth. I feel like not always, but mainly like you can see these aren't cratery, whereas these have a deeper and more brown. So I think that's fun. I know some of y'all like those white beads, and $20 for these big chunky nuggets, I think is really cool. Especially if you're making like asymmetrical earrings because they're center drilled. These make some really cool asymmetrical earrings to hang like that. Anyway, that's the show for tonight, y'all. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you for the chat time. Don't forget, tomorrow, it's my birthday. So we're going to be doing Kittapalooza tomorrow night. So 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have a bunch of new kits to be released. And then on Friday, we've decided, I think, we're going to do a creative make-along this Friday. So tune in. And we'll send out the link if you don't have it. If you have the link to any of our creative make-alongs, it's the same. We reuse that link, but if you don't, we'll send it out, and we'll also send out an email about what's going on for Friday. All right. Kimberly says excited. Says good night. Also, Susan says good night. Good night, y'all. Have a great one. We'll see you back here tomorrow for my birthday. All right. Have a great one, everybody. Bye now.